A few years ago, I did a video in which I talked about why a medical malpractice lawyer or law firm, why they might not take your case. And in that video, I discussed certain things, and some of the discussion went into the financial aspect of these types of cases. And what I was saying is that, well, if a family is going to be upside down, then it may be kind of hard to get a lawyer or a law firm to help them. And boy, did I get a lot of comments because I didn't really go into the numbers aspect of things. And the comments were, well, I'm not in it for the money. I'm just here for justice for my family. To, well, why won't the lawyers just take these cases because they're going to settle anyway and all of that, which is not true. Sometimes you have to go to trial with these cases. And I would never take a case on the idea of, well, it's going to settle. The better practice, in my opinion, is to work all of these cases up, because if you have to go to trial, you don't want to be stuck. So you have people that are saying, well, they're going to settle anyway. And then you've got others that are saying, well, why won't the lawyers just go ahead and do these types of cases anyway? You know, why does it have to be about the money aspect? And so what I want to help you understand today with a whiteboard and with numbers and math, I want to help you understand the financial implications of these cases. Now, in our hypothetical for today, what we're going to have is a baby that has died, okay? And the family is saying that medical malpractice is what has caused their baby to pass away. On the top line, I have a concept. I have wrongful death cap, and I have $700,000 for that. That word cap is extremely important because most states, when it comes to injury cases, there are caps on certain types of claims. And these caps can vary from state to state. Some states may have 700,000 because we're talking about a wrongful death cap here. Some states may have 700,000. Some may have more than that. Some states may have less than that. But that word cap means that what it means is that you will not be able to recover anything. If you go to a trial and a jury gives you a number, if the number that the jury gives you is over the cap number, and in our instance, that's going to be 700,000 in our example, you will not get anything over the $700,000. So let's say the jury says, you know what, this was awful what happened with this family. They should be given $10 million for this. Because there is a cap of $700,000 in our example, you're not going to get $10 million. You're going to get what that cap is, which is going to be $700,000. That is important to understand. For a lot of places, these caps came about years ago as an idea for, quote, tort reform, to supposedly help medical costs and all of these types of things, to make it cheaper for healthcare and all of that, which in my opinion, healthcare still is not cheap, but we still have these caps here, and you're going to see how these caps are actually impacting the people who have been harmed. So moving forward into our example, because we said that medical negligence, the family thinks medical negligence is what caused their baby to pass away, then we have a medical malpractice negligence aspect, and we have the death part. For a lot of states, you need medical experts to be able to move forward with these cases. And these medical experts, they are not cheap in a lot of instances, okay? They want to be paid for their time, which understandably so. So for them to testify, write reports, come to trials, travel, give opinions, depositions, all these types of things, you have to pay, or payment has to happen for this, okay? And there are other costs that are going to be associated with bringing these cases. So like I said, depositions, there may be other things that you have to pay for. And so in our example, we're going to say that the cost and the experts, it's going to be about $200,000. Now, in some cases, it may be more than $200,000. Some cases, it may be a little less, but we're going to use, for our example, $200,000. In addition to that, remember, medical bills. So let's say that the baby had to go to the NICU and it was in another hospital and there were doctors there that work on everything. And now there's a bill sitting there for $100,000. Again, these types of bills they can be more than 100, they can be less than 100,000. I'm just here to help you, to give you an example. And finally, we've got a legal fee of 35%. Legal fees can vary from state to state. Some states will be more than 35%. Some states will be less than 35%. I'm just, again, giving you the example. So the 35% legal fee, remember, it doesn't matter what number, it doesn't matter what number that it's over the cap. That 35% is going to go on what was recovered, which is that $700,000. So if we do 35% on the $700,000, we got a legal fee for $245,000. So you started with the cap number of $700,000, and by the end of everything on that $700,000, the client's recovery is $155,000. Now, for some families, yes, that's going to be okay. Other families, that might not be okay for them. They may say, I went through all of this with my family for $155,000, 2 years. I had to go through all this for that. And so that can be problematic in some instances. And remember, I also have another example in here. If we use the same numbers, and let's say that the jury says, well, you know what? No, we think that the case is worth $500,000. If we use the same numbers that we have in the example here, now the recovery goes to $25,000. And remember, it can take in some cases 2 years or more if these things have to be tried. So what I'm trying to help you understand is the financial aspect of these cases is something that families have to take into consideration. And it may be difficult to get attorneys and lawyers to help you if it's going to be a situation in which you may not get nothing. You may go through all of this and hardly have anything left financially. And I know for me personally and my law firm here, we're not going to take a case in which we are making more money on a legal fee than what the family is going to get. Because for me, I don't like that. Now, that's how I look at it. That's how Boston Law Group LLC looks at it. But that's not every law firm. Not every law firm is like that. Some law firms are going to say, look, you signed the contract. The contract said whatever the percentage was, we're going to take our costs because we won the case. We're going to pay these things out and we're going to get our fee. And so families have to understand these numbers and why these caps are extremely important. And I'll be honest, a lot of people never think about this cap stuff until it happens to them. A lot of times people are caught up on, tort reform. Oh, it's got to be the lawyers. It's the lawyers. That's why the cost of our medicine and that's why the costs are so high because the lawyers are doing all of this. Well, these caps have been in place in a lot of states for a long time. And last time I checked, medical care, like I said earlier, it's still medicine and medical care in the United States is still extremely expensive. So I hope that this video today will help you understand this financial aspect and why you do need to take some time and really think about it and ask questions and see if there is a cap that's available or that is going to be applicable to your type of injury or your type of claims that you may be bringing. You want to make sure that you understand these numbers because at the end of the day, you don't want to be, going through all of this and then you say, oh man, this really was not worth it. And I've talked to a lot of people over the years, and sometimes clients can start at the beginning, because everything is fresh and they're looking at it one way, and then at the end and they're looking at, okay, this is all I have to show for this for 2 years or 3 years or whatever it may be. This is it. And then you can run the risk of the clients getting extremely mad because they went through all of this and this is what it is. And for some clients, they're ready to, file complaints and go to the bar and all these types of things. So you got to understand the caps, and you have to understand how these caps might impact your case.